Stop what you know about joint health. The secret to reversing joint stiffness isn't supplements or therapy. Imagine a 92-year-old Japanese elder effortlessly bending. Smooth, fluid movement would make someone half their age jealous. Millions struggle with tasks like putting on socks. Scientists found a difference. 9% of Americans over 80 can stand unassisted, compared to 78% of Japanese elders. The secret is 5 movements they perform nightly, triggering nocturnal synovial regeneration. Basically, their joints are literally rebuilding and lubricating themselves while they sleep. The numbers are almost unbelievable. These simple movements increase joint fluid production by a phenomenal 43% and reduced morning stiffness by an astounding 71%. But here's the breakthrough that shocked the scientific community. When they measured inflammatory markers in these elders' blood, the levels were comparable to people in their 40s, not their 60s or 70s, all from a 12-minute routine with no equipment. The most powerful movement, which we've saved for number 1, is so counterintuitive that doctors initially laughed. Then they saw the MRI scans showing actual cartilage regeneration in joints that should have been deteriorating. This one position, held for just 3 minutes, triggers your body to produce the same joint-protecting compounds that expensive injections try to replicate artificially. If you want to move like you did 20 years ago, stick with us. The medical community has been focused on fighting aging in the daylight, telling you to exercise harder, run further, and lift heavier. While movement is essential, this Western approach fundamentally misunderstands the 2 phases of healthy aging: damage and repair. Your joints, particularly your knees, hips, and spine, accumulate stress, micro-tears, and inflammatory waste products all day long. When you hit the gym in the afternoon, you are often adding new micro-trauma on top of old, unrepaired damage. This is why inflammation, stiffness, and chronic pain become your constant companions. The Japanese elders unlocked the secret. True rejuvenation happens in the darkness. The science behind this nocturnal approach is rooted in your autonomic nervous system and your body's natural hormonal cycle. As you approach bedtime, your body temperature begins to drop, your stress hormone cortisol lowers, and your body naturally shifts into the parasympathetic state, the rest and digest mode. This is the optimal environment for healing. Crucially, your body produces the majority of its growth hormone, GH, during deep sleep. GH is the master repair hormone, signaling your body to rebuild muscle, repair bone, and, most importantly, regenerate synovial fluid. By performing these 5 gentle movements just before bed, you are effectively sending a clear, targeted signal to your nervous system that the repair process should begin immediately in your joints. You're priming the pump for the natural GH rush, ensuring your joints are mobile and aligned when that repair signal hits. This is the hidden knowledge that flips the script on aging, turning your sleep from a period of stagnation into a powerhouse of regeneration. Let's start with the movement that seems the simplest, but creates the foundation for your entire nocturnal joint rebuild. Movement. Number 5. The seated forward fold, or the Zen stretch. You simply sit on the floor with your legs straight out in front of you. That act alone is more movement than most Western adults do in a typical day. Your goal is not to force your head to your knees, but to slowly walk your hands forward along your legs, breathing and letting gravity do the work. Japanese elders treat this as their nightly reset button, and the science from the Kyoto Medical Center explains why. When you hold this position for 2 to 3 minutes, it triggers what they call a myofascial release response. Fascia is the tough, tight connective tissue surrounding your muscles. All day it shortens and hardens, contributing to stiffness and poor posture. This gentle, sustained stretch, done right before sleep, signals that tissue to loosen and reorganize itself. A study following hundreds of participants over age 65 found that those who incorporated this single stretch every night increased their forward reach, but more importantly, their lower back pain scores dropped by an average of 52%. Think about that. Half of their back pain was gone from one simple, non-strenuous movement. The key is in the timing and the breathing. Your body temperature naturally drops at bedtime, making your muscles more pliable. You want to hold this position while taking deep belly breaths. Each exhale should allow you to sink a tiny bit deeper without ever forcing or bouncing. This teaches your nervous system to trust the movement and stops the protective muscle tightening that causes injury. Japanese wisdom suggests placing a folded blanket under your sitting bones if the floor feels hard. Comfort and consistency matter more than looking perfect. Hold for roughly 100 breaths, which is about 3 minutes, and feel your body surrender to the healing process. Now we move to a movement that looks so relaxed, you might wonder how it could possibly be a powerful joint regenerator. Movement number 4, the lying spinal twist, or the ninja pose. You simply lie flat on your back, knees bent, and let both knees gently fall to one side while keeping your shoulders pressed firmly to the ground. Hold for 90 seconds, then switch sides. Simple, yes, but inside your body, something profound is happening that defies years of gravitational compression. Researchers at the Tokyo Institute of Gerontology used sensors to study the spine during this movement and discovered it creates something called intervertebral decompression. During the day, gravity compresses the 23 discs in your spine, which is why you're actually about half an inch shorter by bedtime. This gentle twisting movement, done without force, is like pulling apart 2 suction cups stuck together all day. It creates space between each vertebra, allowing the fluid that cushions your spine to redistribute and rehydrate before you sleep. A study on seniors with chronic back stiffness found that after doing this twist every night for 3 months, 71% reported feeling taller in the morning, and critically, they could perform daily tasks like turning their head to check a blind spot while driving 35% easier. The secret to maximizing the decompression is the breathing pattern. As you lie twisted, breathe deeply into the stretched side of your rib cage. You'll feel it expand like a balloon. This technique loosens the tiny intercostal muscles between your ribs that get frozen from years of shallow breathing and poor posture. By placing a small pillow between your knees for alignment, as Japanese elders recommend, you protect your lower back and ensure the twist maximizes the spine's nocturnal repair cycle. Now we move to the movement that uses your spine to lubricate your brain. Movement number 3, the cat-cow undulation, or the Nikoi flow. Get onto your hands and knees in the quadruped position. Most adults haven't been on all fours since they were babies, but this simple stance is therapeutic because it's how your spine learns to move in segments, rather than as one stiff unit. Japanese elders perform this with a rhythm that matches their breathing. As you inhale, let your belly drop and lift your chest and tailbone, the cow. As you exhale, round your spine toward the ceiling, pulling your belly button to your spine, the cat. The movement flows continuously back and forth like ocean waves for 2 full minutes. The science from Osaka University reveals the hidden power here. Researchers found this wave-like movement increases cerebrospinal fluid, CSF circulation, by 38%. CSF is the vital fluid that bathes your brain and spinal cord, and its job is to carry away metabolic waste products that accumulate during the day. Poor CSF circulation is directly linked to morning stiffness, brain fog, and is even associated with an increased risk of neurodegenerative diseases. The study found remarkable improvements in nightly practitioners. Their morning stiffness decreased by 67%, and surprisingly, their sleep quality improved by 44%. Turns out, when your spine moves better and your nervous system is calmed by rhythmic breathing, you toss and turn less at night. The key to maximizing this movement is making it truly wave-like. Start the movement from your tailbone and let the motion gently ripple up through each vertebra to your neck, and then reverse it. If your wrists feel tender, a common issue, simply perform the movement on your forearms or place a folded towel under your palms. The Japanese approach is always to modify the movement to ensure consistency, rather than skipping it entirely. Now we move to the movement that surprises everyone with its effectiveness, targeting 2 joint areas that most people completely ignore. Movement number 2, the ankle and hip circles, or the kaiten movement. This is a simple 2-part movement. First, you sit comfortably on your bed or the floor and make slow circles with your ankle. 10 circles clockwise, 10 counterclockwise, then switch legs. Sounds almost too simple to matter, right? That's what researchers at Nagoya University thought until they ran a 3-year study on elders. Half did ankle circles nightly, the other half didn't. The ankle circle group had a stunning 73% fewer falls, and surprisingly their knee pain decreased by 41%. The reason for the decreased knee pain is the scientific breakthrough here. Your entire lower body is connected. When your ankles, which contain 33 joints, lose mobility, your knees and hips have to twist and torque in ways they weren't designed for to compensate. By restoring mobility in the ankle, you naturally realign and take pressure off the knee. But Japanese elders take this further by moving to hip circles. Lying on your back, bend one knee and gently hug it toward your chest. Now make slow circles with that knee, mobilizing the hip joint in all directions. Walking only moves your hip in one plane of motion, forward and back. These circles move it in all three planes, including rotation. The synovial fluid inside your hip joint desperately needs this multi-directional movement to stay healthy. Doing these circles right before sleep effectively primes the pump for your body to produce and circulate joint lubricating fluid during your deepest, most restorative sleep cycles. This simple triplanar lubrication system keeps your hips and knees healthy and significantly boosts your balance and stability. Now for the king of all movements, the one that surprised researchers with its profound healing effects. Movement number 1, the wall legs elevation, or siege. This is the movement that seemed too simple to matter, yet it triggers the greatest regenerative cascade of them all. You simply lie on your back near a wall and put your legs up against it, holding the position for 3 to 5 minutes. Done. But what happens during those 5 minutes is what makes the secret work. Researchers at the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology found that elders who did this every night had an incredible 43% more synovial fluid in their joints. This is your body's natural joint lubricant, and its production naturally plummets as we age. The reason for this dramatic boost lies in two scientific breakthroughs. First, elevating your legs above your heart increases lymphatic drainage by 95%. Your lymphatic system has no pump, and all-day inflammatory compounds and waste fluids pool in your legs, causing swelling and morning stiffness. This simple, passive position flushes that toxic fluid back toward your core to be filtered and cleaned overnight. Second, this position gently decompresses your spine in a way no other movement can. While you're upright, your spinal discs are compressed. Lying with legs elevated creates a gentle, gravity-free traction effect, allowing the spaces between your vertebrae to open by a few millimeters. This allows fluid to rush back into your discs, rehydrating them before you sleep. A major 5-year study showed that those practicing siege reported 64% less morning joint pain, and, surprisingly, their sleep quality scores increased by 52%. By draining the inflammatory fluid, they stopped those midnight interruptions that ruin deep restorative sleep. This simple action is your final, most potent weapon against joint inflammation and stiffness. Now that you know the 5 movements, let's talk about the breakthrough that had the scientific community buzzing, the dramatic reduction in inflammation. Remember the finding? Japanese elders practicing this nightly routine had inflammatory markers comparable to people in their 40s, not their 70s. This isn't a coincidence. It's the result of a targeted systemic attack on the root cause of chronic aging. Western doctors treat joint pain with pills like NSAIDs, which offer temporary relief, but do nothing to address the core problem, systemic inflammation caused by waste buildup and poor circulation. This Japanese regimen, however, works on 3 molecular fronts. First, the wall legs elevation, movement 1, acts as your body's nightly housekeeper, achieving near-total lymphatic flushing. The lymph fluid carries cellular waste and inflammatory cytokines. By draining this stagnant fluid, you are immediately lowering the overall inflammatory load on your body. Second, the combination of the spinal twist, movement 4, and cat-cow undulation, movement 3, dramatically improves the circulation of cerebrospinal fluid, CSF. This fluid acts as the brain and spinal cord's ultimate detox system. By enhancing its flow, you are clearing metabolic waste that, when accumulated, can contribute to chronic pain and cognitive decline. Finally, by performing these relaxing, low-force movements right before sleep, you are deliberately hijacking your nervous system, forcing it into the parasympathetic repair state when growth hormone peaks. This timing ensures that when the master repair signal is sent, Your system is cleaned, aligned, and ready to absorb the joint-regenerating nutrients, effectively stopping the inflammatory cycle that drives stiffness and pain. You are literally reprogramming your body's nightly maintenance cycle to reverse molecular aging. The beauty of this Japanese longevity secret is not just in the science, but in its practicality. You now have the 5 most powerful movements for nocturnal joint regeneration, and the entire sequence takes just 12 to 15 minutes total. The key is not to view this as a workout. View it as non-negotiable nightly body maintenance, as essential as brushing your teeth. The biggest challenge for Westerners is initial stiffness, which can lead to skipping the movements entirely. The Japanese philosophy rejects skipping. It demands modification and consistency. If your wrists hurt during the cat-cow undulation, movement 3, use your forearms. If your hamstrings scream during the Zen stretch, movement 5, place a folded blanket under your hips to raise them. These small modifications ensure you send a consistent signal to your nervous system every night. A study at the Osaka Prefectural University highlighted the power of this consistency. They found that participants who performed the routine daily, even with modifications, saw 80% greater long-term flexibility gains than those who performed the routine perfectly, but only 3 times a week. The truth is, your body has an amazing ability to improve at any age, but it requires a reliable signal. When you show up every night for 12 minutes, your body learns to trust the movement pattern, stops fighting against the stretch, and begins to optimize its nocturnal repair cycle. You won't touch your toes in a week, but the stiffness relief will be noticeable in just 2 weeks. In 3 months, you will move differently. In 6 months, you might be the one surprising people with your easy flexibility. The only requirement for turning back the clock is showing up to your bedroom floor every single night and prioritizing this brief window of regeneration. The debilitating fear of chronic pain and stiffness is real, but it is not inevitable. For years, we've been told that aging means deterioration, that morning stiffness is something you just have to live with, and that joint pain requires endless pills or invasive procedures. The Japanese have proven that narrative to be a lie. They've shown us that by simply dedicating 12 minutes before bed to these 5 simple movements, you can activate your body's most powerful, hidden healing system, nocturnal synovial regeneration. You're not just stretching. You're engaging in a precise, scientifically validated protocol that actively lowers inflammation, rehydrates your spinal discs, flushes toxic lymphatic waste, and primes your body for a night of deep, restorative joint repair. Remember the groundbreaking findings. You can increase your body's natural joint lubricant by 43%, reduce morning stiffness by 71%, and lower your systemic inflammation to the level of a person in their 40s. This isn't just about avoiding a fall, it's about reclaiming your quality of life. It's about being able to get out of bed without pain, move freely throughout the day, and finally enjoy the deep, uninterrupted sleep your body needs to heal. You now possess the secret that top researchers are calling the most effective anti-aging strategy for mobility. Your choice is simple. Will you let your joints continue to stiffen and degrade every night, or will you commit to this 12-minute secret and wake up feeling years younger? We want to hear about your experience. What daily movement is currently hardest for you, and which of the 5 movements, the wall legs elevation, the cat-cow, or the spinal twist, are you going to try first tonight? Share your goals and questions in the comments below. Your journey can inspire hundreds of others. And if you want to keep receiving hidden, research-backed secrets that empower you to live better, hit that like button to help us beat the YouTube algorithm, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss our next video.